Just recently, a dear friend of mine asked me, how did you come up with the name she-fish for the female fish that swallows Jonah in the original story in the Old Testament and in my reimagined story, the book's titled Reimagining Jonah? How did you come up with the name she-fish? And I told her that it just dropped in my mind one day early on in the process. I never doubted that was right. It was the right, appropriate name for her, and it just stuck with me the whole time. I want to say a few things about her, the she-fish, this morning. She is the dominant character, or as dominant as Jonah is in my retelling of the story. Let me read a little portion of chapter 4, the chapter's titled Settling. Jonah, you are 24 hours into your womb time, but conscious time wasn't important as you weren't in command. You'd been forced into total darkness, where internal shadows loomed large and the content buried deep within bubbled up. Your serious attention was called upon. The loving timbre of the she-fish's voice was calling forth your buried pain into conscious view. You wept and wept and wept, and then you unleashed a litany of speech, being painfully and outwardly honest for the first time. It took great courage for you to go there, even in talking to the solitary walls of her fleshy belly. A waft of salt water in your nostrils triggered the question, what is this vessel I'm being held in? Well, I want to make an attempt at answering that question by personifying the she-fish in a human way. And how I'd like to do that is to talk about the BBC drama series Call The Midwife. It's based on a group of nurse midwives in East London in the 50s and 60s. It's actually based in the memoirs of Jennifer Worth, who died in 2011. She's depicted in this series as Jenny Lee. And the narration throughout Call the Midwife is done by the actress Vanessa Redgrave. And she's an older Jenny. And it always closes, every episode closes with her sharing some bits and pieces from that specific episode, but in general, just about the human experience. And I have cried during the program. I've laughed during the program. I've felt a deep conviction often watching the program, but in general, it's just really, really moved me. And as I listen to that narrated voice of Jenny Lee, and Vanessa Redgrave does it so, so well, I think of the she-fish, the love, the care, the advocacy, the passion, the presence. And so if you haven't given that program a watch, I suggest you do it. And if you think about it, you can think about the she-fish, and you can think of her voice as Vanessa Redgrave, playing the older Jenny Lee. And again, listening to the wisdom and the love and the care and the advocacy and all the beautiful aspects of what it means to be seen, cared for, loved unconditionally. I appreciate your time today, and I wish you well.